Hello, you are listening to Talking Interslot, and it's time for the last matchup of the It's a Scalextric's TV and film slot car knockout.
For some reason, Scott, I thought you were going to say the last of the decade, because it feels like it might have been a decade since we started
Taken
this
a
odyssey.
while. If you've watched all of these, well done. You don't get a refund, but well done.
Also, blink once if you're okay.
I honestly think of it as a Christmas treat. Anyway, so we've got we're down to the final. We started off with 32, and we're down to the last two, which are, if you haven't watched the other ones, it's going to be the Bluesmobile versus the Italian Job Minis. So, shall we have a little bit of a discussion about how we got there, the road to the final?
And possibly...
I'm thinking of a sexy graphic at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But also, why are we here, Scott?
Because we haven't got anything better to do.
There is that, I suppose.
Oh, do you mean why are we talking about TV and film cars at all?
Yes.
I don't know, Dick. Why are we talking about TV and film cars?
As we were just discussing, there's been a huge step up in the number of TV and film cars, which have always been part of Scalextric for 60 odd years, but it turns out that a lot of people buy the TV and film stuff, which then enables Scalextric to make the race stuff that the racers want, which doesn't actually sell very well. So we thought that was quite interesting, didn't we, as a business model?
I think it's, and also I think that I know people are a bit kind of, what are they bother making that for? I'm assuming that's the voice they speak in, because obviously I'm just reading their comments on forum.
I think they're a bit more shouty than that, Scott.
No! Okay, but it's like a TV program you don't like. Just don't watch it. So,
Yeah.
so if Scalextrics have made a car that you don't want to buy, the answer is in the question. Just don't buy it. Just don't buy it.
And as somebody who has worked in motorsport for 30 years, I'd make many more film and TV cars than I do race cars.
So when I was researching the kind of pool of talent for this, and okay, you can go back to the 67 Bond Aston Martin, even in Adrian Norman's last big book before it went into multiple books, so that's like 10 years ago, there are pages of TV and film cars, but there's nothing compared to what's been released in the last 5 years. I mean, there are a lot of them, and so we have to conclude they make money, and that's good. So,
and it's very weird that, in fact, whilst this popularity in the number of slot cars is going up, the number of actual sort of character cars in films and TV disappeared. They're
down.
all gone. Because, you know, we all have our favourites from when we were kids. I've made a Corvette recently, which is from a fairly recent film, but it's a 1961 Corvette. And two people, one in the States and one in the UK, have gone, oh, you should have done it as the car from Route 66. And I'm like, what's that? What was Route 66? Apparently, big show.
In the States, but not here, I guess.
Well, no, because it was Franco at our club was like, oh, Route 66 was must-watch stuff.
Okay.
That was like, seeing America and Chrome in our...
Yeah, exciting.
When Franco was that young. Yeah, imagine that. Steam-powered television.
I'm imagining it. Sorry, Franco. But I think it's a good point, the excitement, and an instant access to anything in the world, images, videos, or whatever. TV programs which had a bit of excitement and had an exotic car. An exotic could be something fairly mundane doing exciting things. I think like the Sweeney with the Granada was not an exotic car, but it did lots of exciting things.
It was the accessible executive.
Accessible. That's what they'd like
I'm
to think.
thinking in terms also of Dempsey and Makepeace. Makepeace's Ford XR3 convertible.
Wow, yes. I've forgotten all about Dempsey and Makepeace.
That was an Anglo... So there's a pretty English woman and a hunky, if you like that sort of a thing, American.
I'm saying nothing.
Operating on the streets of London town, wasn't it? She was posh, he was American, they were in London.
It's sexual chemistry as well as fast cars.
Apparently.
It blew me.
I had the little corgi Makepeace's Ford Escort convertible. Might have been a Matchbox, actually.
He's younger than I am. I don't really remember much of it, to be honest.
Anyway.
But you're right. But the movie, so you would have James Bond, obviously, and then you had you had car films like Vanishing Point and Bullet and stuff, but Saturday night TV, so Knight Rider, A Team, for us professionals, Starsky and Hutch, all these things had a star car.
Yeah.
So it's and given that nostalgia sells big, it's no surprise that these things are being made in slot cars. But I don't know what they're going to do in 20, 30 years' time, because there just ain't that many famous cars on TV, I don't think.
No, the last two shows that the three shows in recent memory for me in the last 15 years, so have had the ones that I've liked the most have all had feature cars. They're all detective shows and they all had their car, which is Montalbano had a Fiat Tipo.
Yeah, good luck. I don't think Scalextric are
Don't
going
think
to
we'll make that one.
Fiat Tipo.
Wallander, the Kenneth Branagh version, had a Volvo XC70.
Bit more exciting than the Fiat, but still,
And Zen, which was exquisite. Italian, English actors in Italy playing an Italian drama, and he had a black Alfa Romeo 147. It was cancelled for being too middle class.
Is that a crime these days?
At the BBC, it certainly is. Yeah.
It's too middle class. Okay.
Too white and middle class.
Too white and middle class. Yeah, that's always possible.
You've got Wallander. That'll do you.
Yeah. You can't have it. Yeah. So, given that it's unlikely, then, which car from the past would you like to see them coming? What are you hoping they're going to make to add to the huge number that are already available?
For me, I think the one that would make the most sense, if it can be done, is a Ford Bronco. It's one of the very few signature cars of Stranger Things, and I know that there are colossal licensing costs involved with Stranger Things, but there's enough TV shows, and also as a thing in itself, like the Land Rover, it could run nicely with the Land Rover if you've got a late 70s, early 80s Ford Bronco.
Right.
And it's been in a million other TV shows as a police car, which you could then repaint if you wanted to have the Stranger Things one, or it could just be whatever you wanted it to be. I just think something like that, which has appeared in films, and if you get the license, great, and if you don't, people can always do it themselves.
Okay. They don't sell quite so well when you haven't got the license, do you?
But I think James Bond has provided the majority of the cars, and they've pretty much all been cannon fodder. When it comes to this competition, there are still plenty of good. I mean, why? Why Scalextric? Why the AMC Hornet? Why?
Because it did the barrel.
It's not a convincing race car. It's not, and it's just why. If you're going to do it, go for something that's really cool and iconic. I would go for a Toyota 2000 GT. Which famously had to have its roof cut off so that Sean Connery would fit into it. But it was sort of a higher performance, much cooler MGB from Japan. with a
so much more than an MGB.
Well, yeah, MGB size.
So much more than an MGB. It is a very tiny car. I have been in one, and yes, there's not much space inside them. Maybe for me it would be the car from Ghostbusters, so the big Ecto one, which I had to look up, and it is a Cadillac Miller Meteor ambulance / hearse.
Nice.
So I think one of those with all the little bits and bobs, which they did.
Is that what it turned up with? If it could go either way.
Could go. But I think the Ghostbuster car, given what they've done with the Back to the Future cars, all those extra bits on it, and the Blues Brothers, if the box is big enough, and I'm not sure it is, but if the new big box is big enough, then I think the Ghostbuster car would be a huge seller.
Yeah.
Huge seller. Yeah. And as we've seen from one of our finalists is a big car. So big TV and film related slot cars are popular.
Yeah.
Shall we discuss the road to the final? How we got here?
Yes. So you've got you've drawn the Bluesmobile in our recap, haven't you?
I've drawn the Bluesmobile, and actually the Bluesmobile, being relatively new to the butt, it was first round. It was against the James Bond Esprit, the white one, and put up a good fight. And there are several versions of that Bond Esprit, as we commented on, but the Blues Brothers car won through. I think because of fun. I think we decided it was huge fun to have on the track. Then, as a story of this competition, in the next round, it was up against another Bond car. It was the Aston Martin DBS. Wasn't really much for competition. It's a fairly dull Bond car, even if it is an Aston Martin, and it blew it away. Then it was kind of interesting movie head-to-head where Bluesmobile came up against the Back to the Future DeLorean. I think there was a bit more it was a bit nip and tuck there, actually.
Punchy,
yeah, there was not a lot to choose between
them. It came down to the interior on that one.
Came down to the mucky bits on the interior, and I think size, you were impressed with how big it was.
Well, yes.
Then in the semi-final, and we've got to slightly lament, but it saw off dear old Inspector Morse's Jaguar. It was just... fun is not a word that gets associated with Inspector Morse, even in 1/32 scale. So the Bluesmobile won through that way. How did the minis get here, Nick?
Well, the minis have it's been David versus Goliath, although there are three of them, so it's the three Davids against Goliath. They saw off Lady Penelope's big pink shiny plastic thing, otherwise known as Fab 1, the six-wheeled Rolls Royce. Then they went to a land down under. They took on Mad Max, gave him a kicking. He's not that mad.
I've got Men at Work in my head now.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, they saw off the shiny blue tank SPV from Captain Scarlet. So the jewel in the crown, I would say, of Scalextric's current range is its Super Mario Nation oversized vehicles, but those three little minis which they made 15 years ago plus, still doing
it for us anyway.
And also, let's face it, at the bank.
Yes, because
I don't know what you would have paid £70 for in about 2007, but that's about what it was, I think, about 70 quid, 75 quid for the set. Now you're looking at 300, 350. What else has appreciated that much in that period? Apart from a loaf of bread. Gone up 40% since COVID.
Anyway, before we get too political on that, we're in enough trouble. You realise we're going to go to swap meets and stuff, and we're going to meet people, and they're going to go, no, you're wrong. Anyway, the minis have been doing giant
and that's why I'm wearing this. I reject your reality and substitute my
own. Yeah,
thank you.
So the minis have been doing giant killing work all the way through to here. So we're now at that point where it's the final, the last one. Who is going to be declared the best Scalextric's TV and film slot car?
It's a big one. That's the Batman one, isn't it? Holy, hold on the donut.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
And so accuracy. Let's recap on the accuracy.
So we have got a very large American car with a massive, oversized loudspeaker on the roof.
Which, although it looks toy-like, is actually what it looks like in the film. So they have done it correctly.
Secured by ropes fore and aft, as is the real one. It's full of rubbish, and it's got a very youthful and slim Dan Aykroyd and a still alive John Belushi.
As alive as a small piece of plastic can be.
Well, they are sculpted as they were.
So they're not.
With a high degree of accuracy.
Yeah, I don't think we have. Were there any? Did Beetlejuice have a car? I don't think you'd have any dead people in cars, could you? Anyway, I divert. The Monstermobile. Anyway, sticking to the competition. Can you
imagine the tooling budget for that?
The Monstermobile.
Yeah,
would be cool though.
Yeah. That would sink the whole of Hornby though.
Don't do that. Don't do that. So the minis are small.
Yes.
But perfectly formed, I think would be the way to put it.
Pretty much
perfectly.
I think they put the windscreen wipers on the right way round, which hasn't happened on every single car.
Right. So,
do you remember the fuss when the Mark 1 Escort came out?
I do.
Oh, my word.
I do. Anyway, they can't get everything right, but the minis are very good, and what do we say? I mean, small things. Slot cars fit into that sphere of the world, which is the joy of small things, because we have our own little world, we have our own little cars, we have our own little track. It's about being, it's the joy of small things.
Yeah.
So if you have a very small thing, is that more joy or less?
I think the frustrating thing for me with that set is there's 3 cars, and my OCD kicks in when I'm like, it's an uneven number and whatever. Also, there's more cars. There should be more cars.
You want a Jag and an E-Type and
an Alpha Police car or 9, and of course the Lamborghini Miura from the beginning.
The bus is what's missing. If the killer set would be the bus.
Yeah.
And you could forget all
the
that.
bus has been made. It was available from Chase Cars.
Ah, who's a regular listener? Hello.
Yeah, so it's a necessary thing.
Yeah, but
to have another car, but
not sadly available off the shelf from your local Scalextric stockist. So
no,
it's ineligible for here. So I think what we're saying in terms of accuracy, I'm going to call it a draw.
Yes,
which I think we've done a little bit in these semis, and these cars have all done well.
They have.
Well. And then it gets down to fun. Which one is the most fun? And
well, you and I are both magnet removers, aren't we?
We are magnet removers,
which does certainly in stock form put things towards the Bluesmobile. It's got a sensible motor in a not completely awful configuration. All Scalextric muscle cars are sidewinders. It uses the same size wheels, so it fits
not
perfectly.
all are. The AMC, the Trans Am car, was in line.
Oh, that's a bone of contention, isn't it?
For
many
no
a club.
For no discernible reason.
What were you thinking, Scalextric?
I think it's because it's narrow. But anyway.
Yes. Okay, give you that one. But all the others are sidewinders, full interiors, not Euro standard size hubs, and they run very nicely together, and there's no reason why this one shouldn't. If you take the magnet out, it goes sideways brilliantly, as does the...
But not very far, because the back end hits the side of the track
you have
quite
to have
quickly.
quite a decent sized track.
Whereas the Mini, you could get completely at 90 degrees to the groove, or the slot, because it wouldn't even reach the edge of the track that way.
And of course, these Minis are accurate to the film script, where if you remember, the Minis are, before they go out, and they've got one up on blocks, and there's a guy underneath the back of it, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm changing the differential. It's like, well, it's a Mini, it's front wheel drive. What are you doing under the boot?
I don't remember that, to be honest.
But on a Scalextric car, that would be correct.
That's true, because they are rear wheel drive. Good point, yeah.
So...
the things he remembers from movies.
It's very important, that.
It's very good, yeah.
Yes, where were we?
Fun.
Differentials
We're discussing
at the back.
fun. We're discussing how much fun they are compared to each other.
Yeah, so without the magnet, you're always going to have fun with a Scalextric muscle car. It's got a nice motor that works reasonably with no magnet to hold it to the track. The Minis do not come similarly blessed.
They're what should we say? Feisty, bubbly.
Rakeless and on or off is how those motors work.
They require delicate. Actually, like a real Mini, if you want to go quickly, it's about momentum management. You need to kind of,
It is.
So
yes. So there is that, but again, you can always tune any slot car to handle how you want it. And also, I'm not convinced that there are very many Italian job Minis that have actually been out of their boxes, because they are investment pieces.
True, this is true. But I think, if we had them, we would take them out of the box.
I've had 2 sets.
There you go.
I have sold them both when I've needed money in a hurry. So, yeah, I would buy another one. In fact, I had a diamond set as well to make the Beatles out of, but that's tucked away somewhere. So, yeah, I would love to have another Italian.
I'm going to push you to think, would you say the Bluesmobile is more fun than the Minis?
As a concept, no. As a subject matter, no. On track out of the box, yes.
Okay, I knew we would get there eventually, yes. So I think, it's kind of one up to the Bluesmobile at the minute. It was kind of level pegging on scale, fun Bluesmobiles winning it. Before we get to the which one would you take, which has been the traditional decider, we were just talking about an extra element here, which was about, because the movies are both filled with quotes and songs, and which movie has got the better...
Exactly. So, I mean, and this is where an American car will suffer from me, because when my mates come over, everyone knows lines out of the Italian Job. If you've got 3 minis there, everyone's going to spend all night driving them and quoting lines from the film.
Yeah. What kind of thing are they going to say? Go on, give us a go.
I've completely gone blank.
Doors off, blowing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the obvious one, isn't it? That's just completely gone.
I told you. This is the rare occasion where we did actually discuss something beforehand.
And this is what
completely
happens.
Gone wrong.
This is what happens. I freeze completely.
You're only supposed to blow. I can't even do the accent. That's why you've got
You're
to
only
do it.
supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
There you go.
That's what happens when they're pretending to break into a van. If you have not seen the film, there's all sorts. There's,
Mr. Bridger. Give us some Mr. Bridger. Who's the criminal mastermind who's in prison? But yeah.
And one of them was wondering if the authorities might not be so easily bought by his assistant called Camp Freddy. And he says, well, everyone in the world has been to Camp Freddy. And I hope Croker likes spaghetti. They serve it 3 times a day in Italian prisons.
See, it was worth doing this just to get him to come back. So,
and this is a difficult job, and there's only one way we're going to get through it, and that's if everyone works as a team, which means you do everything I say.
Now, so far, the Italian Job minis are well ahead on quotable quotes.
Yes, because it's 106 miles to Chicago. I'm not even going to do it in that. It's 106 miles to Chicago. We've got a full tank of gas, half a packet of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. That's the main one. And obviously, then they're on a mission from God. The one that I always associate with the Blues Brothers is when Elwood comes back to his really shabby lodgings, and there's an old black guy sitting out in front of the building, and he's like, "Do you get my cheese whip, boy?" Every single time. He wants his cheese whip.
What is a cheese whip? I mean,
it's like a can of cheese.
Oh, so like
squirty cheese.
Squirty cheese.
And sure enough, Elwood tosses in the cheese because Elwood's a good guy.
Okay.
He remembered, in spite of going to get his brother from the prison and all the stuff that's going on, he remembered to get
some squirty cheese.
Got some squirty cheese for his friend.
Excellent.
Who is probably a really famous blues musician that I just didn't recognise. Like John Lee Hooker, obvious is John Lee Hooker.
Well, I've only watched it once, famously, and that was relatively recently. And I'm not really up into blues music, so I recognised Aretha Franklin, and that was about it.
James Brown?
Yeah, James
Ring
Brown.
A bell?
Yeah, James Brown. Yeah. James Brown anecdote. So, do you remember there was Live Aid?
Yes.
And then later on there was Live 8.
Yes.
And it was up in Scotland.
All right.
Part of it was, anyway. And I got tickets for it, but I couldn't go, so I gave it to my eldest stepson, who was in his early 20s at that point, I think. So he drove all the way up there, and he went to the concert, and I was talking about it after, and I said, wow, I said, you got to see James Brown. He went, which one? I said, the guy who came on in the red suit. He said, oh, I thought that was Lenny Henry. Anyway, back to the slot car final. I think, prejudice, I think Italian Job's got more quotes from it than... Admittedly, each has got one. There's we've only got half a pack of cigarettes, blah, 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 and there's the blow the doors off. Those are the two things you probably may have heard of without even knowing the films.
Yeah, and it's got that it's not involving the minis, but that wonderful opening sequence of driving through the Italian Alps in a Lamborghini Miura with your cool shades on.
With Matt Monroe singing.
On days like these.
Da, 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 da,
I think that's copyright infringement right there.
Do you want to know? I've got 2 Matt Monroe stories you want to know.
Yeah.
First one is because my parents used to run a theatrical booking agency, so they booked Matt Monroe. He came up, he was on tour, so I would see him, and he didn't stay at the house, but he didn't like going back to the hotel, so he was at the house a lot. But anyway, before one show, he said, "What do you want me to sing for you?" And I said, "Theme from the Italian Job." So that's what he did. But I had a part-time job when he was staying with us, coincidentally, and I went into work one day and I was a bit sleepy, and they said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Oh, I couldn't get to sleep for my mother and Matt Monroe singing downstairs." And they sort of stopped and looked at me and said, "What, like to records?" And I went, No, really." So, bit of a Matt Monroe fan. He was a nice man. He was very short, but he was very nice.
What, was he a milkman or a postman?
He was many things. He was mostly a singer. I mean, there's a lot of PR, and he was a bus driver, he was a milkman and all that stuff, but he was basically a singer.
Yeah, because the movie Little Voice with Michael Caine as an old agent. And he's trying to impress a young girl and said, "Oh yeah, I work with Monroe." And she's like, "What, Marilyn?" "No, Matt, the singing postman," or whatever he was.
Matt, no, he's a great voice. Anyway, people are going to say, "Dear God, they're half an hour into the haven't even talked about." So, if you're just a reminder, we're talking about the final of the Scalextric's TV
I think
film
we'll cut 5 minutes of me faltering out of this.
And it's between the Bluesmobile and the Italian Job minis, and we've run out of waffle. We've got to come to the point of who is going to win. Which one is going to lift, metaphorically, because they haven't got arms, the trophy, which doesn't exist. But you know what I mean. Do you want me to declare first?
Go on.
Italian Job minis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Italian Job minis.
Yeah. And I think they're cute. There's 3 of them.
Yes.
They're British.
Yes.
I like the film better. And they're worth a lot of money. I'm discounting how much they're worth, but yeah.
Now, I think Simon needs to, if he's ground all the way through all this, he needs to launch a celebratory box set
with a sticker
at a reduced price.
As nominated, winner of the it's a
Scalextric TV and film slot car knockout.
Talking after slot special edition Italian Job box set.
Yes,
I'd have one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I would not allow any of them to have transfers put on them for a swap meet.
I don't understand that.
Well, it's like you get a normal car, put transfer on the roof, and suddenly it's like gold dust.
You get overprinted with the NSCC logo or something.
Printed is it? They're all water slides.
Is it these days? It used to be printed. Ah, well. But that's a whole separate show when we will piss off a whole load of other people by talking about how we don't understand why show cars are seen as so valuable, but they are. Anyway, so
out of those 32 cars,
the minis are triumphant. It's a win for Britain. It wasn't always going to be that way, but it's a win for Britain, and we need as many of those as we can. And well done, Bluesmobile. But just faltered at the end.
I mean, well played, America.
Well, yes, yeah. jolly good show.
Better luck next time.
But so I haven't counted up the hours that this has taken, but it is several. And I think we've had fun. Have we had fun?
We have.
I've had fun. So hopefully the listener...
Had some crisps as well.
We had some crisps off camera because we're professionals. And so it's all that remains to be said is, no, I think I'm going to put this out after Christmas. That's the plan. So we'll say we hope you had a good Christmas and we hope you're going to have a good New Year. Thanks for listening and we'll see you soon.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.